I went by water. I insisted I wanted to go by water. I had to go from Lokoja to Barrow by water.
You did?
Yeah.
So any timeline as far as the Barrow project is concerned?
Yeah, it's about the roads now, and even some other people, some private sector players have also showed interest in privatizing, concessioning the port.
Okay.
So we have opened up the discussions too in that line to see that we open up the port.
So what is the impact of a well-developed waterways? What's the impact?
Oh, great. It's massive, because one thing you must understand is that the transport sector touches every aspect of our lives, touches every aspect of our economy. Because how do you describe it? If you talk about goods, persons, moving from point one to B, one form of transportation is involved. It's either by land, by air, by sea, by rail, by whatever way. So you see that the transport sector is key to the development of an economy. And I know that the water transportation is very key, very prime, when you talk about the transportation sector of an economy. If we have very functional waterway transportation, the cost of haulage will come down drastically. 2 months ago, we signed a memorandum of understanding with Nupeng. Nupeng wants to move petroleum products by water. And it's going to impact very positively on the economy. Just taking one aspect alone. This outside, if we talk about moving containers, and we succeed with the process we've laid out now, with regards to moving consignment from Lagos to Onitsha, Lagos to Port Harcourt, One to Onitsha, what have you, won't worry. By the time we do it, apart from the employment opportunities it's going to create, opening up entirely new vista for business and whatever, it's going to impact positively on the economy. So there's quite a lot. We have not even talked about the tourism potentials. We have not even talked about the tourism potentials, because if we start moving consignment now from Lagos to Onitsha, I'm sure they're going to be stopping at jetties as they come along. And one thing about movement is that the moment there's a regular stopping point on a route, automatically that place develops into a city. Because the next thing is that businesses will grow up there, private economies will develop, and before you know it, it becomes a big city. So there is going to impact positively on the economy of the nation. Yes.
Now we have many rivers. Any plans to dredge these rivers, like Benue River, for example, so that ships, ocean lines can come into and berth, like what happened
Yes,
in One?
when you talk about capital dredging, it's a massive capital investment. Massive capital investment if you look at dredging.
Okay, so are we going to have, futuristically, are we going to be having transport, well-developed water transport, where, like you said, one can ferry from Lagos to Lokoja and all that? Are we going to be having ferries?
That's what we are doing. Well, that's what we want to achieve. I'm talking with an American firm that has shown interest in bringing ferries to do ferry business in this country. There's also another private transporter in Anambra State who is into massive transportation, who has also office in Lagos. We had spoken, I encouraged him that he can invest in water transportation. And he appears to be buying into it. So we've done the first exploratory meeting. We're going to do 1 or 2 more meetings, then we'll come to concrete terms. Because we're trying to link him up with an American firm that wants to bring in ferries into the country and explore that business opportunity. There's also a group that met with me. Theirs is strictly tourism. They are trying to bring in ferries, use it strictly for tourism purposes, visit locations, and then identify resorts they can visit, stay there, do some few days stay there, and then move on to other locations and things like that. So we're talking with various groups.
Okay, interesting. Then of course the big announcement recently at the One port that the biggest container that bettered there. What is the significance of that?
Well, for me,
is it going to be an ongoing thing? And what
it has to be. It has to be. You see, what we have succeeded in doing is not us directly, but I'm saying us now because I'm a member of the maritime family. What NPA has done there is, for me, is a milestone. It's a massive breakthrough, because here is a massive liner arriving at Tone. One, they've encouraged shipment to the southeast. They've demonstrated the viability of our eastern ports, because these ports are there. completed, government invested a lot of resources with good drafts to receive vessels of that kind. Are you getting me? So we have sent a clear message of the viability of the eastern ports. It is now for us now to tap into this new development and see to what extent we can now use barges to move these consignments to the hinterland. Move them from One to Onisha, One to Wari, One to Lokoja, One to Baru. So these are the things that fall out from a synergized operational system, a network that is a maritime network that is going to be in the overall interest of the nation.
So looking forward and looking at your timelines, give us a picture of the Nigerian waterways. What are we going to be seeing soon?
I want to, like I said, when I took over, I said something that is even in our magazine when you look at it. I said that I'll feel very excited that by the time I leave office, that water transportation becomes the transport means of choice, both for cargo and for personnel. So for me, if I can get there tomorrow, I would have felt very fulfilled. So, and that is where my target is, that's where my focus is. Because by the time cargo starts moving on a regular basis on the channels we have identified, then there will be need now to encourage the opening of new channels, and then resources will be coming into government. The government will be favorably disposed to reinvesting in developing the channels.
But again, the problem is still there, because even I was reading up on the liner and all that, a lot of people are saying that the road leading to the port is still a problem. So that challenge, how are you going to surmount?
No, the truth about it is that before this government came into office, there was a structural infrastructural decay. Everybody knew that. And this government has been investing aggressively in trying to address this challenge.
So running off way forward, just round up way forward.
Way forward is that, one, we keep supporting the government. Two, we as citizens, the ones we should do, we do them, be the best citizens we can. Criticize government when there is need to do it. But in all honesty, not criticizing for criticizing's sake. Encourage government, anybody in office of any position of responsibility, encourage them, pray for the leadership, like the Bible tells me.
Thank you very much, sir. It's just been a pleasure speaking with you. It's an eye-opener. I've learned so much about our waterways, and there's great future ahead of the waterways.
Great.
And we're all looking forward to that sector being developed and helping our country move forward. We've been speaking with the Managing Director of the National Inland Waterways Authority, Chief Dr. George Bogalu, and he has told us exactly what the situation is and way forward. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, Weekend Deal continues.